Hey, thanks for joining me today on this December 15th, 2023. Looks like we are live. Live on Rumble, live on YouTube. Here we go. My name's Tom Coffee. This is the Coffee Nuance Show. We're on all the socials at Coffee and Nuance, especially on Rumble, rumble.com/coffeenuance/live. Just bookmark it. Just bookmark it if you haven't done that yet. But, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the show. And today, you are in for a treat. Let me tell you, today's show is going to be the Mona Lisa of live streams. You won't get the credit in real time, but years from now, you're going to be telling your grandkids about it. We're diving into the very essence of paradoxes, the Picasso of ironies, where the remedy often turns out to be the Phantom Menace, lurking behind our desire to fix things. Picture this, a world where solutions are more convoluted than GPS directions in a corn maze. Let's talk about social media. The grand coliseum of opinions. Yeah. We wanted connection, we ended up creating a battleground. It's a virtual version of a Royal Rumble. Everyone's fighting for attention, and the winner gets a golden crown made of likes. By the way, if you like this stream, smash the like button. I appreciate that. Healthcare. It's a labyrinth of insurance codes, medical bills, longer than a Game of Thrones novel. Trying to cure a common cold leads to a prescription list that could rival a CVS receipt. Suddenly, you're more entangled in red tape than a communist mummy on Halloween night. Do communists celebrate Halloween, or is that too capitalist? I don't know. Anyway, workplace drama. HR steps in to fix a spat, and suddenly you need a permission slip to breathe. It's like trying to navigate an obstacle course designed by Kafka. Just when you think you've made it through, you find yourself right back at the starting line. And the noble endeavor of DEI, striving for equality, feels like a game of chess where the rules change quicker than Kelvin ball. It's time we acknowledge that the remedy shouldn't feel like a choose-your-own-adventure book where every path leads to confusion and resentment. You know what they say about good intentions. When the solution seems more mind-boggling than the problem, you're lost, I'm lost, we're all lost, and the media isn't a place to look for help either. Folks, let's give a standing ovation to the power of speaking up. When the remedy resembles a sitcom plot, it's time to rewrite the script, or at least call for a director's cut. Because in a world where solutions can turn a straightforward issue into a Rubik's Cube of complexities, silence is the villain in this epic tale. Remember, identifying a cure worse than a disease, it's like recognizing a bad haircut. It's there for everybody to see, but only a few brave souls will speak up about it. My name's Tom Coffee. This is a Coffee Nuance Show, best censored commentary and news show live right now. Flame on. Really? Yeah, so that's the idea. That's the idea. Looks like we got a couple people watching. What's up, everybody? If you're watching, you can hit the like button. Doesn't cost you a thing. Makes me feel good. Don't you want to make me feel good? Anyway, it's been a while. I'm glad to be back. Just as a reminder, I'm doing a show tonight at midnight on the East Coast, Midnight Americano. Hope you can join me. If you got nothing else happening, you can tune in, hang out. It's going to be a good hang. 9 p.m. on the East, right here, same channel. But I've been thinking about this, this cure worse than a disease. We keep seeing this over and over again. And, a lot of times we think about our government being, they're supposed to come up with the solutions. And it just seems like they just keep coming up with more and more government. Right? I've been following what's been happening in Argentina, and Milei went in there with his chainsaw, and he's just getting rid of programs. We don't ever really see that, though, do we? We don't see programs being cut. We don't see waste being cut. You know, the Republicans talk a big game about being small government, right? But I think it expanded more under George W. Bush than under anybody else ever. You know, each year the government gets bigger and bigger and bigger. And we're supposed to solve these problems with more and more bureaucracy. How's that working out? Anyway, that's just kind of the theme of today's show. I have a couple of stories today that are along this idea of that often, hashtag not all, of the time, the solution can actually be worse. Or the remedy, what am I saying? The cure can be worse than the disease. That's what I'm going for. Anyway, let's get to the first story that we're going to talk about today. Now, this involves Oregon, but it's an example for the whole country. Okay. Republican Oregon senators face potential disqualification for re-election due to 13 contested words in a law targeting absences. The dispute hinges on whether they're immediately disqualified or allowed another term. State officials argue for immediate disqualification, emphasizing voters' intent, while GOP senators claim the wording grants them another term. The Oregon Supreme Court will decide, impacting the Senate's composition for the 2025 session. So here's what's going on in this. This was quite interesting. In Oregon, we've got these silly, I'm calling them silly, voter initiatives, right? You're some 501c, you're some shady group. You pay a bunch of young people to stand around downtown Portland and collect signatures to get something on the ballot. And the citizens get to vote on ballot measures. We have that a lot here in Oregon. One of the things they don't do is actually look at the ballot measure that's passed to see if it's, you know, legal, constitutional, anything like that. You can just pass anything you want to. I would love to get a ballot measure that just said that anybody named Tom would get a $1 million bonus from the state. Now, if we could get enough people to vote on that, you know, that'd be cool. But what this ballot measure did, what it said was that that if you had 10 absences from the Oregon Congress, if you stepped out and did not show up, if you had 10 absences, you would not be allowed to run the next time. But they phrased it in such a stupid way, anybody that, you know, maybe got an A in 12th grade English would have been able to point out the problem. What the actual thing that they were saying is, hey, if you have 10 absences, then you may not participate in the election following your last day in office. Words to that effect, right? Well, guess what? You run for re-election before your term ends, okay? So the Republicans, knowing that that's how it was phrased, know that this ballot measure is moot. It doesn't even mean anything because according to the language of it, it's pretty clear that you're not allowed to run after you're done, after your term is over. But it doesn't say that you can't run for re-election before your term is over. And then we get into, well, we got to look at what was the intention? What were the voters' intentions of this ballot measure? I remember reading this and I was like, who wrote this thing? This is stupid. Right? You can be explicit in a ballot measure, and it was clear that this was written poorly and there would be problems for it. And I guarantee the Oregon representatives and senators that had absences, that they stepped out because they didn't want to participate in a particular vote, they knew this. They knew this was the phrasing. And this is why it goes back to the idea that, you need to be precise in your language. You can't be sloppy in your language if you want to get something done. You need to choose your words correctly, wisely. This ballot measure it looks like it was, I don't know. To me, if I could read intent into it, it looks like it was written that way specifically to cause problems, specifically to be misinterpreted. That's how it looks to me. There's no excuse for a law written in a clumsy way that there can be multiple interpretations of it. But we got lots of that going on in Oregon, because of course we do. Anyway, now I know you may not be living in Oregon, but this is just an example of clumsy language and not being precise in your words, how it leads to chaos. And a reminder for yourself that you can choose your words precisely and avoid the chaos. Anytime I think of this miscommunication thing, I always think back to Three's Company sitcom, right? Nearly every episode, there's chaos and confusion, and it's fun in that show because things are misinterpreted, because there's miscommunication. We don't need to have miscommunication if we are precise in our language. And I want to say to all those people that don't put any punctuation in their text messages, you're the problem, okay? Periods, full stops, commas, that all makes things more clear as to what you're trying to say. And if you just do everything in lowercase and you don't use any punctuation, congratulations, you are adding to the problem of imprecise language. You're adding to miscommunication for people. So anyway, I'm old school. I still text in complete sentences. I know. But language is important to me. Anyway, that's my little thing. But let's talk about some other instances of sometimes where the cure might be worse than the disease. Oh, you heard about this, right? Boston Mayor Michelle Wu hosted a holiday party for electeds of color, initially inviting all city council members, but rescinding invitations for 7 white councilors within 15 minutes. Wu defended the event, calling it a celebration of identity and culture, but labeled the exclusion as an honest mistake. Apologies were issued for the mistaken invitations, but not for the decision to segregate the event. Wu, the city's first female and Asian American mayor, clarified plans for inclusive gatherings, while critics argued it contradicted past leadership practices. No excuse for this. This is disgusting racism, in my opinion. But you can understand the intention. Oh, we want to have a celebration for electeds of color. I've never even heard that word before. Have you? Elected? Someone who is elected. They are an elected. Multiple is electeds. But wow. A lot of drop off on YouTube. Nobody cares about this. That's okay. If we want to be precise in our language, we need to stop saying of color. Because anytime there's something of color, all it means is non-white. That's what it means. It means non-white. Of color means not white. So we could be more precise by just making it non-white electeds, right? You want to say people of color? No. Just say non-white people. It's the same thing. It's more clear. And if you phrase it that way, it sounds, you're like, wait a minute. Sounds a little racist. Maybe it is. Maybe it is. But you can see that people with good intentions are creating solutions that seem to be dividing us more than uniting us. And Mayor Wu is a terrible thing to do, in my opinion. But perhaps you have a different opinion. Let me know in the comments. As a reminder, I'll be going through all your comments in the after show. That's once we get through with these stories, including the fact check coming up. I'll be going through all your comments in the after show. So stick around for that. But what do you think about this? Throwing an office party and then rescinding the offer to anybody that was white. Wow. Sounds racist to me, but yeah, I don't know. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. And next up, let's talk about presidents and their doubles. So during an annual news conference, Russian President Vladimir Putin faced an AI-generated version of himself posing questions about his alleged doubles and the risks associated with artificial intelligence. Putin, momentarily taken aback, asserted that while the AI resembled him and spoke in his voice, he believed that there should be only one person speaking as himself. He humorously labeled the AI-generated version of him his first double. The interaction occurred amid ongoing speculation, particularly in Western media, about Putin possibly using body doubles due to rumored health issues, which the Kremlin has consistently refuted, stating that the president's health is in excellent condition. Well, I did watch this exchange. It was Putin was having a conversation with AI Putin. It was kind of funny. And but he was actually pretty elegant and eloquent, I guess, talking about AI and doubles and body doubles, and made the joke that this is my first double, meaning that he doesn't actually have body doubles, as has been suggested in the press. And it makes me wonder, what would it be like if Biden were to be confronted with an AI version of Biden? I would love to see that, because I don't think that his reaction would sound as smart as Putin's. Now, to be clear, I'm not like, yay, Putin. I'm not doing that, right? I guess to have a show in America, I have to say Putin bad, bad guy. Right? But clearly he has his mental faculties, and his health is a lot better than our own president's. And I find it just so ironic that the American media is calling out the idea that Putin has body doubles when there's all kinds of crazy stuff going on with our own president. Now, I will say I don't believe any of the rumors that Biden has stand-ins. I don't think that that's true. I don't think that there's like a number of Bidens, because sometimes you will see these bizarre like lines. It looks like he's wearing a mask or something like that. And he looks different over time. His face just really changes. And, like around his ears, just how the skin is, that all changes. That's all really bad cosmetic surgery, in my opinion. I don't think there's someone wearing a Biden mask. When you're trying to figure out what this could be, often it's the most simple idea is going to be correct. At least that's the one that I usually default to, unless I have enough evidence to go out with a crazy theory, like there's a bunch of fake Bidens and people wearing Biden masks. All of the lines, all of the things that look, that's just really bad cosmetic surgery. I think it's pretty clear that our president has had hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of surgery, and he can't quit. He can't quit. And that's why he keeps looking different over time. It's amazing that he seems to now have less wrinkles than I do. Kind of crazy. But he's being shot up with all kinds of chemicals. And he just keeps getting Botox, keeps getting fillers, keeps getting plastic surgery. That's why it always looks like it's someone wearing a Biden mask, in my opinion. That's what I think. But maybe you disagree. But I kind of need a little bit more information on that. But can you imagine Biden looking and seeing an AI Biden? I can't imagine his reaction to it, but I would love to see that because I think it would be classic. I think it would be classic. Anyway, next up, I got to tell you the truth about something. Time for the truth. So here's the story. American comedian and activist Tao Ger Zhang tragically passed away in a suspected kidnapping turned murder incident in Colombia. He was found dead with stab wounds in a ravine. Zhang frequently visited Colombia and knew the woman who allegedly lured him into this kidnapping plot. Now, despite prior contact, he fell victim to the scheme, which ended in his demise. His family and community mourn his loss of a beloved advocate known for his compassion and humor. They plan to establish a foundation in his honor to continue his impactful work. So the reason that I bring this up is I have mentioned the city of Medellin, Colombia, many times on this channel. It was actually rated, one of the best cities to live in the world. I think I did a story on that this fall. I went there and I spent some time there last fall. And I really loved this particular neighborhood. Oh, that's what it was. I did a story on the neighborhood that I stayed in Laureles, in Medellin. We say, in the U.S., we say Medellin. And down there, they say Medellin. And, to hear about this murder kidnapping plot thing, I just want to give the update that while I've talked very highly about this city, it is dangerous. And obviously when I was there, there were a lot of dangerous areas. It's a very developing country, and not in the area where I was, which was around the university. It was very nice, very clean. Oh, it was lovely. It was lovely. But yeah, you go outside of that, there's a lot of scary places. Now, I will say, just looking at this picture, this is him and the girl that he was down there. I gotta wonder, I'm not, we don't want to blame the victim, so I'm not doing that. This girl is a lot taller than he is, which is interesting. A lot taller than he is. And when I was in Colombia, I went to the soccer game. I'd walk around town. Most men came up to about here on me. I felt like a giant when I was walking around Colombia. So, seeing this, if this guy were my friend and he said, "Oh, this is a girl I love down in Medellin, Colombia. I'm going to go down there," I'd be like, I don't know. I don't know. I mean, it may sound like confirmation bias, but I would be leery of someone that is half a foot taller than you that looks like that. I know we shouldn't judge people based on their looks, but I don't think I would go out with someone that looked like that. I think you might be looking for trouble. Yeah. So anyway, be cautious if you're meeting foreigners on the internet. They could be involved in a scheme. But I do have an update about this. The EMC group, a breakaway faction of Colombia's FARC rebels, F-A-R-C rebels, agreed to, on this yesterday, they agreed to halt ransom kidnappings among peace talks with the governments. This step, a win for President Gustavo Petro's peace efforts, aimed for a resolution in a conflict that's lasted decades. Now, despite this, other rebel groups continue abductions, highlighting the ongoing challenges to achieving peace in Colombia. So, yeah, just an update. I've said a lot of positive things about Colombia and the city of Medellin, and I just wanted to come clean and say that there's some danger there as well. Danger there as well. So anyway, it is a Friday. It's a Fact Check Friday, so let us get to the fact check. Okay. So here we are. This is CNN Fact Checks Vivek. Oh my goodness. Well, let's take a look here. Now, if you just do a search, CNN Fact Check Vivek, look at how this is phrased. We've got some videos. Fact-checking Vivek Ramaswamy's CNN town hall in Iowa. Well, that one sounds okay. Video. Vivek Ramaswamy's January 6th claims gets real-time fact check from Abby Phillips. Oh, that's kind of implying. That's kind of implying. That he's wrong. Abby Phillip fact checks Vivek Ramaswamy on conspiracy theory. Now, these are all from CNN. CNN brutally fact checks Vivek Ramaswamy following town hall. Oh my goodness. Let's take a look at the article here from CNN. Now, I will say that I found this interesting, and this is up for you to determine, not me. CNN on their YouTube channel did have this entire town hall on their channel, and it kind of went viral because a lot of people think that Vivek did really well in it. It doesn't appear to be on CNN's YouTube channel anymore. Just saying. I don't know. Make of that what you will. Let's go through this. Facts first. CNN fact check of Vivek. Okay. Says the entrepreneur made some claims that deserve closer scrutiny. So let's scrutinize it. Now, here's the first one. A false claim that police rolled out red carpet on January 6th. Well, let me say, if we're going to be totally literal, don't you like this graphic here that's just kind of going on and off? That's not annoying, is it? Let me cover that. That's annoying. Okay. They're going to say, oh, there was no red carpet there. They didn't actually literally roll it out. Fact check false. Well, that's kind of what we've come to explain. But here's what they say. Ramaswamy doubled down on his previous comments that the January 6, 2021 attack on the U.S. Capitol was an inside job, adding that there is evidence of police rolling out the red carpet for rioters. Well, just right off the bat, I think I mentioned this at the time. Vivek never said that it was an inside job. He said it appears to be an inside job. Now, there's a huge difference, and this is why language, being precise with your language, is so important. Okay? He said it appears that it was an inside job. That's not saying that it was an inside job. That just says it appears. There's a huge difference. And by CNN omitting that word, they're lying. They're lying to you about what happened. Now, you can think that it was wrong that he said it appears to be an inside job. But to just omit that, not fair, not right. And I'm fact-checking CNN. I say, CNN, you're a bunch of liars. How about this next one? A false claim about government entrapment on January 6th. Ramaswamy reiterated his belief that January 6th was an instance of government entrapment, claiming as evidence that we know there were federal law enforcement agents in that field. Okay, so the claim is that there were federal law enforcement agents in the field. Well, let's look at the facts first, according to CNN. FBI Director Christopher Wray, lifelong Republican appointed by Trump, has repeatedly rejected claims that federal law enforcement agents were in any way responsible for the violence that unfolded at the Capitol on January 6th. So the claim that Vivek made was that there were federal agents in the field, and to reject that, we've got FBI director saying that the federal law enforcement agents were not in any way responsible for the violence that unfolded. Okay, so they were there, which is exactly what Vivek said. Okay. Doesn't seem that this is fact-checking to me. A claim of the kidnapping case involving Michigan's governor. To back up his false assertion that government agents entrapped Trump supporters on Jan 6th, Ramaswamy pointed to the kidnapping case involving Michigan Governor Gretchen Whitmer, a Democrat. He repeatedly said 3 defendants were acquitted because they were entrapped. So that's the claim, right? 3 defendants were acquitted because they were entrapped. What does CNN say to this? Well, facts first. As CNN's Abby Phillips pointed out during the town hall, those numbers only tell part of the story. 9 other men charged in the plot were ultimately convicted. Okay. The claim is that 3 guys were acquitted because they were entrapped. And to refute that, they say, yeah, but other people were found guilty. Vivek never said that other people weren't found guilty. He said that 3 people were entrapped and they were acquitted, which is 100% true. How can you fact check a claim, but you don't actually fact check that claim? You just fact check whatever you want to around that claim. And the thing is, if you are not paying attention, if you're used to sloppy language, you were to just read this, you go, oh yeah, Vivek, what a liar. Oh, CNN put him in his place. Oh, CNN dunked on him. Oh, look at all these fact checks where CNN got it wrong. Now, right now, I haven't seen any instance that CNN is showing that Vivek's claims were wrong. They're just asserting something else that he didn't claim. Let's look here at this next one. A misleading claim about the Fed and inequality. Oh, you better not say anything about the Fed. When asked about growing inequality between the richest Americans and the middle class, Ramaswamy claimed the Federal Reserve's policies over the past 2 decades were to blame. He implied that the Fed's policies of keeping interest rates relatively low over the majority of that period disproportionately benefit the wealthy, saying the central bank has been raining money from on high like manna from heaven, and that it really flowed down through the 1%. Okay, I mean, yes. Facts first. This is misleading, according to CNN. While higher income Americans may have stood to benefit from lower interest rates more than middle class and lower income Americans. Okay, so they're saying, okay, high income Americans benefited more. The latter may also have been able to reap some benefits. Okay, so while the billionaires really benefited, perhaps the poor people might have benefited a little bit. And so therefore, Vivek's claim that it disproportionately benefited the wealthy is 100% true. Again, CNN is not fact-checking his claim. They're just saying he's wrong and then saying some other BS. For instance, when the Fed slashed interest rates to near zero levels to stimulate the economy after the pandemic brought a surge of unemployment, many Americans were able to refinance their mortgages and lock in record low rates. Oh, so what you're telling me is that people that owned houses were able to get lower interest rates, and so people that owned things benefited, whereas people that rented or didn't own a house didn't get those benefits. It's as if lower interest rates help. The wealthier you are, the more you benefit from the lower interest rate. It's exactly what Vivek said. But somehow this is a dunk by CNN. Not true. Okay, lastly, claims about wages on a claim about on wages and inflation. That's a terrible, terrible headline. A claim about on wages and inflation. Maybe they don't have an editor. I don't know. Asked about the growth in income inequality, Ramaswamy said the American dream is not alive and well right now. Prices are going up. Interest rates, including mortgage rates to buy your home, are going up, but wages have remained flat, he said. Well, allow CNN to fact check us here. While there are several government measures on wage growth, at least two main reports show that this is not true. Wage growth now outpaces inflation. So it sounds to me like they're saying, hey, for the month of November 2023, wage growth was higher than inflation. Inflation is cumulative, right? So if everything went up a year ago, if everything doubled in price a year ago, but now it's not going up as high, but they did give you a 5% raise, according to CNN, wages are going up higher than inflation. Think about that. We need to be precise in our language. I have given many instances, and I'm sure that you know about this, the cost of food has gone up so much. One example, or I'll give you two examples. My favorite Mexican restaurant, the tacos, and when you go, I usually get 3, has at least doubled, okay, in the past 2 years. Used to be $1.50, $1.25 to $1.50, depending on the meat. Now, minimum $3 per taco. And these are the small little street tacos. Doubled in price. Like Trader Joe's? I love Trader Joe's because I love Brussels sprouts. That's where I get my Brussels sprouts, a bag of frozen Brussels sprouts. Went up 50%. My wage didn't go up 50%. But here CNN is saying, oh, don't believe your lying eyes. Don't believe the receipt for your groceries. We're telling you, your wages have gone up faster than inflation. Do you believe that? Because I don't believe that. And I would love to meet a person that actually believed that, because I got some things to sell, and I could probably give them a good deal. So anyway, this is what CNN has for fact checking. They don't even fact check the claim that's being made. And even the idea of fact-checking, right? The idea of fact-checking is to try to make us understand what is being lied about and what is not being lied about. Now, here's what I'll say. Now, I haven't gone through and said whether any of Vivek's claims were true or not, okay? I haven't done that. If you think I did that, I didn't. What I'm saying is that CNN did not actually fact-check the claims that Vivek made. They fact-check things around what he said. That's not fact-checking. And if fact-checking is supposed to make us more informed, to me, it appears that fact-checking is making it worse. Because people that don't read the whole article will just read the headline, and they will believe the fact-checkers when in reality, they're not even fact-checking. They're not. The cure, worse than the disease. And I think that presidential candidates should be fact-checked. But you should actually check the things that they're saying and don't just make up what they're saying. You know, again, what I said, Vivek never said that Jan 6 was an inside job. He said it appeared to be an inside job. It looked like it. Big difference. Big difference. And if you don't think that's a big difference, then I don't know what to say. Maybe you don't care about language. But I do. I do. Anyway, we got to have some good news. I got some good news. You may not think it's good news, but it is. Here we go. 2 days ago, December 13th, was Taylor Swift's birthday. She celebrated not only for her fame, but for her love of cats like Meredith Grey, Olivia Benson, and Benjamin Button. Animal shelters use this day for the Taylor Swift Challenge, asking for $13 donations, referencing Swift's pets and even her relationship. Fans are enthusiastic, showing strong support for these shelters and their initiatives to help animals. Now, why is this good news? I'll tell you why. Because a lot of times problems seem to be too big for everyone. And I know that we can benefit when we try to help other people or we try to help solve problems. We can't obviously solve all the big problems, but sometimes we can do a little something to help. And often, at least I feel like I can't really do anything to help. And so in this case, they're asking for $13, which is something that most people would be able to give $13 to your local animal shelter for help. And I'll tell you why that this is good. 13 is, I think, Taylor Swift's favorite number, and she was born on the 13th, and she's referenced it in her songs and albums and stuff. I think that it's a very good, positive thing to try to get help, or, you know, even if it's volunteering or giving money or whatever, especially to people that don't have a lot. So maybe you're a teenage girl, you don't have a whole lot of money, but you're like, oh, I want to give the $13 because I'm a big Swiftie or whatever they're called. And that is going to impact that person. They're going to feel like, wow, I actually feel good about doing this. And it was something small. It was something that I could do. And that may grow so that you're able to participate in helping other people more. For example, I know every year on Martin Luther King Jr. Day, they have like a day to ask for something small. Because something small may get your foot in the door for someone. But also, that's how habits are formed. That's how you start something new. Often you start by doing something small. And so I think this is a great idea. $13 to your local animal shelter, something small, and it gets you kind of reframing things that, oh, I can make a difference. Oh, I can put money or I can put time to things that I care about. And I think that's a really positive thing. I think so many of us feel that the problems are overwhelming. We can't do anything. In the comments, if you think that was good news or you think that was a stretch. Looks like we're YouTube seems to be buffering right now, but we'll make it through. Anyway, stick around for the after show. I'll be going through all your comments. And a reminder, tonight we're going to be live, midnight Americano, midnight on the East Coast, 9 p.m. on the West. I hope you can join me. Until then, peace. Okay, here we are. And I know I made the reference of the bad haircut, and no one can say it. Believe me, I've been told that the hair in the back here is messed up. I'm at the awkward stage where I'm trying to grow it out, and it curls and does that. Does this. But I'll make it through there. Yeah, I did see that there was a big skip, big buffering. So anyway, hashtag Rumble Gang, hashtag Fact Check Friday. What's up, Ox? What's up, Apothecary John? The ballot measures being ambiguous is intentional. It reminds me of the guy on the street with 3 cups and the hidden ball. Lots of distractions created so your eyes are not on what is important. You know, that's the cup and balls routine. It's a standard in magic. Everybody learns it. I know the cup and balls routine. I can pull it out and show it. It's amazing that even when you know the trick, it still looks pretty impressive. Also reminds me of 3-card Monte, right? But yeah, the No Whites holiday party, I remember when Biden announced he would pick a No Whites, No Men VP, and we ended up with Kamala. Yeah. Why don't you like tall girls, Tom? Well, one, this is just me, and we're all different. I do prefer women that have, I don't know, been born women or been born female. That's my thing. We're all different. That's just me. But again, men don't really get to choose who they go out with. That's the women decide, right? You know. That's just how it is. But height, I don't care about that. I prefer, I don't know, people that have always been women or female. Fact Check Friday. Glad I could catch it in my drive home. Well, glad you're driving home. That sounds good. But that dude probably was not like you. No, I tell you, when I saw the picture of the girl that the guy was going down for, it just immediately looked, and look, we see patterns, right? We see patterns. If I see somebody that looks like that, now this is in Colombia. Like I grew up in Albuquerque, but if I saw someone with makeup in that fashion that had that look, I would say like, oh, she's probably a gang member or something. She's not presenting herself as more wholesome, you know, kind of presenting as a trouble. Yeah. I would say he was looking for that on purpose. Well, the comedian, well, perhaps he was. Perhaps he was. And I don't want to victim shame or anything like that. I want everyone to be happy. Everyone to be happy. Just be safe. Tonight's show is going to be wild. Well, I hope you like it. I've been working on some new stuff for the show tonight. and I look forward to presenting some new things that I've been wanting to do for a long time. So, Tom, have you read Eats, Shoots, and Leaves by Lynn Truss? I think you would enjoy it. Well, thank you for the recommendation. I've never even heard of it. And I don't even know what it's about, but thank you for the suggestion. Maybe she's sitting on his lap in that picture. Well, that could be. Maybe she was sitting on his lap. And I probably, right, just made an assumption. But a lot of times assumptions, I think one of the things is if you're going to judge people, you know, we don't want to, you don't want to judge somebody for just based on their looks for, say, employment or, you know, anything like that, right? That's wrong. But for your own safety, you definitely should, right? For your own safety, be as judgmental as possible, right? If you're walking down the street and it's late at night and there's some people that look shady to you, cross the street, turn around, go the other way. Your own safety is a lot more important than trying not to judge people based on their looks. That's my thing. Let's see. What's up, Jody? Nice to see you. Good job being precise in your language, Jody. Nice. CNN seems to be trying to convince us that they are all dazed and confused. It was interesting that, you know, just that CNN video just kind of disappeared off YouTube. That's kind of weird. Kind of weird. But maybe it's temporary. Maybe it's back. Who knows? Wondrously great peeps. Nailed it. Well, not one myself. I'm sympathetic to the Swifties. Oh, I think if I were a teenage girl or whatever, I'd probably be a Swiftie too. Apothecary John says, I'm Swiftie adjacent. Well, that'd be a Swift adjace. I like that. Natasha just likes cats. Yeah, cats are fun. Lucid couldn't join us today. Maybe he's drinking margaritas. Well, maybe had too many margaritas on Margarita Thursday. Yeah. Promises made on the campaign trail need to be made under oath. That would be that's an interesting idea. I've never thought of that. Making a campaign promise under oath. That might mean something. It would mean more than their word, because their word means pretty much nothing, right? We can agree with that. Yeah, her makeup did look rather harsh. I thought it looked kind of harsh as well. I would definitely not right swipe on someone with makeup like that. But that's just me. That's just me. Vivek is tripping. He saw literal red carpet being rolled out. Oh, yeah, you know, maybe. Maybe. I didn't, you know, that would be funny, though, if there were a little red rug and someone rolled it out. Like, that would have been really funny if that happened, you know. Like if someone showed up there with a little red carpet, and they rolled it out just right at the entrance. That would have been hilarious. I can't take credit. That's a quote from Ron Paul. Okay. All right. That does seem like a Ron Paul thing. So that's good to know. That's good to know. Thanks for sharing that. And thanks for sharing that idea, you know. Anyway, that's all I have for you today. Tonight, please join me if you got nothing else going on. However, if you got something awesome happening, go do something awesome. It's Friday night. Get your awesome on. But if you're at home and you're around, come join the hang. Midnight Americano, midnight East Coast, 9 p.m. on the West. I'll be there. Hope to see you then. Until then, have a beautiful day. Peace.